This huge statue at Kushinagar marks the spot where he experienced what Buddhists call the final extinguishing. But it's what happened after his death that provides the vital clues to locate Buddha's true burial place.
As soon as the Buddha had died, his body was cremated. Now, over the years, he'd gathered a very large following, so there was an almighty squabble because everybody wanted a share of his remains. And this could only be resolved when it was decided that the remains should be divided into 8 portions, which would go to 8 kings, including the Sakya family, the members of his own Sakya clan.
The inscription states that the Piprawa urn contained this precious Sakya family portion. Since Piprawa is at the heart of Sakya territory, Buddha's homeland, was it possible that Pepe had found this original burial site of Buddha's remains? The only one of the 8 portions to be found. Perhaps. But that original burial would have been simple. The bones and ashes laid in the ground with flowers, buried under a mound of earth, nothing like the tomb that Pepe had discovered. So even if the fragments of bone and ash belonged to the Buddha, the elaborate tomb must have been created later by someone else. So who could have built it, and when, and why? There's one place that could hold the answers to these vital questions. A remarkable site at the very heart of India. Sanchi, 450 miles away.
There it is. Very striking. We're sweeping into Sanchi Hill, and there it rises out of the plain. And right on the top is the great stupa with its magnificent carvings, one of the wonders of the world.
With its huge stupa, 50 feet high, Sanchi is a monument to the spread of Buddhism. Could it be that the man who first built this site was also responsible for the spectacular tomb that Pepe found?
The carving here is monumental. It's a miracle, you might say, that it survived 2,000 years plus. And here it is, and it's the only one like it. It's breathtaking.
The monument was begun by a great emperor who converted his Indian empire to Buddhism 150 years after the Buddha died. His name was Ashoka, and his conversion marked a dramatic personal transformation.
It's impossible not to be moved by the character of Ashoka. Here is an extremely violent, unpleasant, ruthless emperor who seizes the throne by violence, kills all his brothers, and then suffers some extraordinary change of heart and is suddenly converted completely becomes a new man. And from that moment onwards, Asia has a ruler who actually rules by principles of morality. He is the one who changes this minor cult into what is initially a national religion and then a world religion.
Three crucial facts suggest possible connections between Ashoka and Piprawa. Sanchi shows how Ashoka built hundreds of brick stupas all over India. How he dug up the original portions of Buddha's remains and redistributed them to these new sites. Was Piprawa among them? A clue may be found in one of India's earliest languages. Ashoka used a form of Sanskrit to create written edicts, first on rocks, and later on a series of huge sandstone pillars. They were written in script called Brahmi. The very script used to make the Piprawa inscription. That inscription, according to Harry Falk, was made around 150 years after Buddha died, exactly when Ashoka reigned. But if Ashoka did create the tomb at Piprawa, if it did mark the burial site of Buddha's own family, the Sakya clan, it would have been one of Buddhism's holiest sites. How could such a place possibly have been forgotten? The answer to that question lies in what happened to Buddhism after Ashoka died.
Ashoka wanted to transform his kingdom into a Buddhist country, and in a sense that was a step too far.
These statues did not lose their heads by accident. Buddhism challenged the authority of India's Hindu priests, who saw it as a heresy to be suppressed. And what the Hindu priests started, Muslim invaders completed. Over the centuries, Ashoka, the Brahmi script, and Indian Buddhism itself were all erased from memory, almost as if they had never been. It wasn't until the 1800s that Buddhism was all rediscovered, mainly by British scholars.